No one knew better than Ronald Reagan that one powerful, memorable line can win a debate.
Could you turn that microphone off, please?
I am paying for this microphone.
Never mind that line echoed the 1948 classic film State of the Union.
Don't you shut me off. I'm paying for this broadcast.
In 1980, it propelled Reagan to victory over George Bush in New Hampshire. That fall, as the Republican nominee, Reagan showed he could go up against a sitting president.
There you go again.
That bravado helped Reagan defeat Jimmy Carter, and 4 years later, President Reagan thought he would try the same line on challenger Walter Mondale.
You know, I wasn't going to say this at all, but I can't help it. There you go again.
But Mondale was ready for him.
Remember the last time you said that?
Mm-hmm.
You said it when President Carter said that you were going to cut Medicare. And you said, oh no, there you go again, Mr. President. And what did you do right after the election? You went out and tried to cut $20 billion out of Medicare. And
Mondale had a good night. But
so
more to the point, Reagan had a bad night, unfocused, poorly
just doesn't
prepared,
work out
and it
that
showed.
way. The system is still where it was with regard to the progressivity, as I've said.
The great Communicator was not great that night, and it sent shockwaves through his campaign.
For them, the worst thing was that a strong Reagan performance might have clinched the election, while what happened last night gave the Democrats new life.
Today we have a brand new race.
Some of Mondale's operatives were busy today, subtly suggesting that last night's debate may be a sign that President Reagan is getting to be too old for the job.
The age issue. It became front-page news. Reagan, then 73, was the oldest president in history, and voters inclined to give him a second term suddenly had some doubts.
The White House today did everything but put a Superman cape on President Reagan as it wrestled with questions about his age and fitness.
An alarmed Nancy Reagan, the president's protector-in-chief, took her concerns to campaign chairman Paul Laxalt. He then publicly blamed Reagan's own aides for a debate preparation process that he said brutalized the president.
It was totally unfair for the campaign to impose upon him a process that would be intolerable, I'll be frank to tell you, for a 21-year-old.
But Reagan himself later acknowledged that he alone was to blame, saying, "I wasn't really ready or up to it." The campaign brought in media consultant Roger Ailes to coach the president for the second and final debate. When the big night came, Nancy Reagan was seated down front where the president could see her. 67 million Americans were watching, and they didn't have to wait long.
Mr. President, I want to raise an issue that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks.
It was the only question that really mattered that night. Was Ronald Reagan too old to be president?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
It was a home run. Even Mondale laughed. Reagan glanced over at Nancy and, like the pro that he was, reached for a glass of water to let the moment play out. The debate had an hour to go, and the election was still more than 2 weeks away. But effectively, it was over at that moment.
He won. He won. What?
She says I won.
What do you say?
But it comes better from her than me.
In a single stroke, the president had reassured the country that he was okay, that he was not too old. He won re-election in a landslide.
Thank you.
On election night, as supporters chanted 4 more years, Ronald Reagan had one more one-liner.
I think that's just been arranged.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.